All right. This should be up and running. I may have to go and do a kitty cat thing real quick, but doggy thing, but hang on, let me get the sound
Candidates
up.
have to say.
All right, guys.
No noise
this
except
is C-SPAN,
right now.
and yes, we can stream this. Oops, sorry, and I did hit a button.
We welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
Oh, come on, stop doing that. Oh. All right, guys. I am going to have to run in and feed the cat and a dog and take the dog out real quick. So I will be right back. I know you can't see the chat on here as I don't have the thing up and running. Let me see here.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in making the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way, In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they'd try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Joe.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is. And that say occurs when they vote for United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get the chat to come up on my screen here. It's not doing it. It's being a total
so the thing that should happen is we should wait.
Well, they shouldn't have given out the goddamn topics before people went in.
Because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president.
Yeah, I don't know why the chat won't come up.
What's at stake here is the president's made it clear.
It says it's authorized.
He wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that. He ran on that, and he's been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which will strip 20 million people from having
Affordable Care Act removed my goddamn insurance, you asshole. I had good insurance. I lost my insurance in a small business I worked for, went out of business because of fucking Affordable Care Act.
But she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional.
It's not refreshing.
The other thing that's on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again, a woman could be held pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy.
Unfortunately, you can see it on YouTube.
They're able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. And that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions.
I'll watch you guys over here.
And they'll be taken away as well. those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this.
For those of you who don't know, they released all the topics were released
the election,
weeks ago. So that's why he hasn't been doing any goddamn,
he goes forward. If not,
meetups and everything, all that, events, because he's been studying and cramming and getting IV drugs for his dementia. They should not have given all the topics to him. I think that was crap when they did that.
Powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so.
Agreed, Corkboard.
Said a president and
all he did was
Senate
crib notes.
is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected
Yep.
for 3 years. I'm
Yep.
not elected for 3 years.
Yep.
So
his job does not end until the new president's inaugurated.
During that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years.
Yes.
And the 100 million people, Joe, the 100 million
whether
people
Obama
totally
got his
know,
nomination or not, Obama
the big
nominated.
problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist medicine.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree.
Woo! Open discussion. Let's hear this.
He knows that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you said, and it's not what your party has said.
That is simply
your party doesn't say it. Your party wants to go socialist medicine.
My party is
and
me.
Socialist health.
Oh, the party is you, not Ocasio-Cortez or anybody pulling your strings, you fucker. Come on.
The Democratic Party is what I, in fact.
Well, of course he's going off notes, Jay Watterson. He did crib notes. That's why all you can fall back on is you're a liar when he loses.
Wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act?
You know what? Let's go after China.
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm happy to talk about
And if you were here, it wouldn't be 200. It would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw.
He's
you
pissy.
didn't want me to ban China.
Pulling him off his talking points.
You didn't want me to ban.
All right, gentlemen.
Don't save him, Chris.
Much later, Joe.
No.
Much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
You're not
President, as a moderator.
You see where he got confused? Trump pulled him off his study points.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is
sorry, Jim. Same here.
Why is it
YouTube is delaying it.
Because
Why is
you
it on the ballot?
said,
sorry, man.
It's on the ballot.
Hey, just watch it here.
There's nothing happening there.
Donald,
and you don't know her view on Roe v. Wade.
You're probably right, Jay.
Well, all right. Let's talk. We got a lot to unpack here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time. So
yeah, trust me, I know, Jim. My streaming software is ahead of the YouTube, so I should probably.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court.
I could probably almost do it this way.
A week after
you're gonna lose the sound for a quick second. Till I go over here.
Got a lot to unpack.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me know if you can hear that. Trust me, I know, Jim. My streaming software is ahead of YouTube. Nope, I thought I couldn't. Sorry. Had to try.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
you mentioned
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of Obamacare. That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare.
Sir,
Chris, that was the worst part of Obama.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. I got rid of it.
I'd like
and we will protect people with
President, I'm the moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your question.
Hey, D-Dub.
In the course of these 4 years, have never come up with
a D-Dub, we're here to peel some taters, man.
Replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan.
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but
Oh,
that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. There's nothing symbolic.
Ouch!
I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against Big Pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So
No, it was 180
all
years.
Of the things that we've done,
He has not cut
insulin. I
healthcare.
give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people. The cost. I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth? So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs what we're doing. Prescription drugs.
Look at Joe get flustered.
We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because they pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
let
but
me
this
ask
is
you about.
big.
You'll
This
be
is
happy,
big stuff.
sir. You'll be
Oh,
happy.
okay. Now this is getting to piss me off. Chris, get the fuck out of the debate.
You would like to add a
Every time he asks
option
Trump something, he does not
to
let him
Obamacare,
answer.
And
Yes.
the argument that he makes,
Trump
the
should be able to fully
Republicans make,
answer.
is that is going to end private insurance.
It
is.
Well, if I can ask you the question, it will
Not
end.
what your party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover.
The
of
Democrats
healthcare.
help.
Not. It's
Half
only
the
for those people who are
people in
so
primary
poor
admitted that's what they wanted to
qualify
do.
for Medicaid,
Which
they can
ends
get that
private
free
insurance.
in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies.
Hi,
for
Mariah. Just
Medicare
be
with
careful, hon. There's going to be bad language here, and if you don't like politics, you may not want to be here, hon.
enrolled in
But
the
welcome.
public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agreed
two.
with
Bullshit.
Bernie Sanders, who's
I
far
did.
left, on the manifesto we call
Yep.
it. And that
Manifesto.
gives you socialized
Look at Joe
medicine.
look at his face. Look at his
I'm not gonna
face.
Listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell
No,
of a lot.
you
I'm
beat
not-
him 'cause it
I'm
was
not
set up.
facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have
Oh,
left
he's
today,
got
so
dicky.
he would've lost every
All he knows how to
on
do is
Super
hurt.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
Look at Joe.
I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to make
what?
sure because
He
here's the
is,
deal.
Mariah, but he's
Here's
my
the deal.
type of crazy.
The fact is
Facts.
that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agreed.
want to
Hey,
make
Show me the
sure-
lies, Joe.
I want to make
Show me the
sure-
lies.
Reported last in your class.
Like you're going to a black college,
wanna
Joe?
make
Mr.
Sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that.
Joe, how about that going to that black college you went to that they said you never went there?
The wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders.
He is, Jim.
Let
Now
him.
you're disavowing.
There
He
is
is,
no
Jim.
manifesto, number
Please
one.
let him speak, Mr.
Number
President.
You
two.
just lost the left.
Number two.
You just lost the left. You agreed with Bernie Sanders on
He
a
did.
plan.
Folks,
This is a debate, Chris.
idea what
This is a debate.
They call it
Mr.
you
Mr.
have any
President.
do?
socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I tell
President.
you
No,
what,
screw
he
you,
is
Chris.
not for
Shut up.
any help for people
This is a debate.
needing health care.
Yeah, GTR, get him, Donald.
Because he, in fact, already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers.
No, I lost my
because of
health
his
care under
recession.
Barack
Number one.
Obama
Number
and Joe
two,
Biden.
There are 20 million people
So did everybody I
getting
worked
health
with.
care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give them
Number
better
three.
health care at a much lower price
But-
because
and by the way,
Obamacare
he doesn't
is
know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a
fixed
plan.
it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gen-
Gentlemen, you
Obamacare
realize
is no
if you're
good,
both
Joe.
speaking at the
It's no
same
good,
time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is
There we
no
go.
good. We made it better, and I had a choice to
makes a
make
little more
very
sense.
early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual mandate. Listen, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
And that destroyed. That they shouldn't even.
Joe's
call it
got nothing.
Obamacare.
Look at him.
Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well, or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people. Okay. I
He
said,
just
"You gotta
said,
run it
let
so
them
well."
blame him.
And I
If
just
I run
had
it
a
badly,
meeting
he'll
with
get
them. They
blamed.
said,
Yeah,
the problem
exactly.
is, no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive.
I got you.
Premiums
I
are
got
too
it.
high.
Corkboard,
It
problem
doesn't
is
work.
Chris-
So
Chris
we
is
want to get rid of it.
kind of been-
We want to get rid of it.
He really sucked
Sir,
Joe's
I have to- I
ass
have
during
to give
Joe's,
you roughly equal time. Please
interviews, but he's
let
really
the vice president talk.
gone after the president.
He has no plan for health care.
He just said he did.
Please.
He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power.
Guy that's been
He
here
hasn't
4
lowered
years
drug
has
costs
done
for
more
anybody.
than
He's
you
been
did in
promising the healthcare
47.
plan since he got
Who's
elected.
showing
He
wishful
has
thinking,
not.
you
Like
ass
almost
hats?
everything else he
And yes,
talks
I'd be
about.
yelling this at my
He
TV
does
if I
not have
wasn't
a
on
plan.
here.
He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right, I have one final question for you,
Sure.
Oh, God.
Mr. Vice President.
Oh, Jesus.
If Senate Republicans,
Oh, Jay Watterson,
we're
you're totally
talking
right.
basically about the Supreme Court here.
Jim.
If Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices.
Which I would like to remove anybody from our government that does it.
But in fact, it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues.
Jay!
So my question to you is, you have refused.
Oh, my God, you're
it.
right. You are so
willing
right.
to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take in that, that'll become the issue. The issue is
Oh, so you won't take a position.
You should go out
You
and
politician
vote. You're in voting
shithead.
now. Vote and let your senators
And guys,
know
please
how
feel
you
free to
feel.
share this stream out if anybody wants to
Vote
come in
now.
and
Make sure you, in fact, let people know.
Take a
your
stand, you
senators. I'm not
asshole.
gonna answer the question
Why
because,
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question
Exactly.
is, the question is,
Take a stand.
Left.
will you shut up, man?
Listen, who's on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
Right,
There
gentlemen,
it is.
I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
unprecedented.
And this has got an hour and a half of this.
We have
Go-
ended this
Biden's
segment.
going to
We're
lose
move
it.
on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
Oops, sorry.
Keep
I was trying to
yapping,
grab
man.
something
People
else.
understand,
God dang it.
Joe.
They should.
47
trying to grab
years, you've
something.
done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject.
I don't want to be on
so
Joe's side.
Let's try to be serious about it. We
There,
have
now
had
you know what side
more
I'm
than
on.
7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people
Blame
have
China.
died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years.
Oh, whatever. Corkboard says
before
they're
we come
the
back to
closest to fair we
anything
got. Fox ain't fair, but neither CNN
normal.
and MSNBC.
My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far, and what you have said you would do
Holy
starting in
shit.
2021,
You guys are going to kill
why
me.
should the American people trust you more than
He's
your
going to
opponent
stroke out.
to deal with this
Will Biden
public health
endorse
crisis
Trump?
going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Oh, good luck. Good luck.
200,000 dead. As you said, over
So what?
7 million infected in the United States.
How many
We, in
died
fact,
during H1N1 under Obama and you?
5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths.
Except everybody travels here.
40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, "It is what it is." Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan.
He
hasn't
just
laid
said a
out
plan.
anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said,
what was the
"We owe him
World
a
Health
debt of
Organization telling us that you said
gratitude
to
for
listen
being
to,
so
asshole?"
transparent with us." And what did he do?
There you
then?
go, guys.
He then
How you like
did
that?
nothing. He waited and waited and waited.
Little
He
meme
still
I
doesn't
made.
have a plan.
It's worse
I
than
laid
that.
out back
Campaign's
in
dead,
March
Joe.
exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in
I'm
July
sorry.
what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be
Hey,
providing
Joe,
the money the House has
you
passed
called him
in order
racist
to
and he's
be able to go
overreacting
out
when he
and
closed
get
down travel
people
from
the help they
China
need
and
to keep
Europe.
their businesses open.
Wanna
Open
tell me
schools. It
again
costs a
who
lot
was
of
gonna do
money.
more, you
You
shithead?
should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together
This
the
from a guy who
Democrats and
hid
Republicans
inside
and
this for
fund what
months.
needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to
You have 2 minutes, sir.
if we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died.
Yes.
200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened.
Yes.
They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand.
Oh, exactly.
But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country.
He did. Joe tries to ignore that. He did say that.
Our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months.
He's on video saying that.
In fact, Dr. Fauci said President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of your Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look.
The governor did say it.
The governors said I did a phenomenal job.
They did.
Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that.
Yes, they did.
President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are
Joe,
dying.
you'd
when
still
they
be
get sick.
sleeping.
Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job.
Does anybody believe that Joe would have done better?
No matter what
he doesn't have the
to him,
energy
they
to
give
go
you bad
debate
press on it.
more
It's
and
just
to go out
fake
and do
news. They give you
election
good press. They
campaigning
give me
for
bad
more than 2
press
days without
because
taking
that's the way
5
it
days
is,
off.
unfortunately. But let me just tell you
There's
something.
no way
I
he
don't
can
care.
do what
I've gotten
Trump
used
has
to it.
done.
But I'll tell you, Joe, you
No
could
energy.
never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
I know how to do the job.
You
I
do?
know how to
47
get the
years.
job
What have you
done.
got
very
done?
well in swine flu.
Oh!
H1N1. You were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was no
very-
economic recession.
Sir, you made a
There was no
lethal
lethal
disease.
disease.
Yeah,
You made
far
a
less
point,
lethal
let him
disease.
answer.
And there was we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he's shut down.
Yeah,
The
and he's
reason
still
it's
doing
shut
better than
down is
yours.
Because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID?
Not that
How
many, buddy.
of
Do
you
the
were in a
math.
situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them. You had a nurse holding a phone
370
so you could, in fact,
million
say
people in this
You
goodbye.
would have
country.
lost far
Yeah,
more
do the
people.
math.
Far
That is-
more people.
And,
You would have been
and by the way,
months late.
your own,
You were
his
months behind me,
own
Joe.
CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between
The
now and
CDC
the end of
director
the
said
year.
we were gonna
And he
lose
publicly
over
said, if
2
we just wear a
million.
mask, we can
We
save
haven't.
half those
I just
numbers.
said, like,
Just
20
the
million
mask.
originally,
And
remember?
by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
& Johnson, Pfizer?
And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future because you both have touched on two of the questions I'm going to ask. Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words.
Yeah.
But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson
Hey,
&
Daily
Johnson,
Side. How's
and
it going,
others.
man?
They can go
my
faster
Daily
than that
Side?
by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I call
So
them
you're
left, I don't know
suggesting
what
that
I
the
call them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slaoui?
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them.
They
And he
gave
didn't say
Joe
that. He said
meds.
it
He
could
was
be
gone
there, but it could also
for
be
all
much
this
sooner.
time,
I had
barely
him
making
in
any
my office
stops
2 days ago.
because they were
Talked
crib
about the
sheeting
summer,
him.
sir, before it's generally
and they were
available.
giving him drugs to
Just
keep
like
him
He said
stable.
it's a possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking about
after
when it's
that.
generally available, not when it
Well,
will
we're
be.
going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up. Logistically, they're all set up. We have our military that delivers
Yeah,
soldiers,
Jim.
and they
Well,
can do
Jim, that'll just be
200,000
Kamala.
a day. They're going to be
this
delivering
is the
the
same
vaccine.
man
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter this would be gone away. By
You're
warm
the same
weather, it'd be
guy that
gone.
said,
Miraculous,
if
like
you
a
like your
miracle.
insurance, you can
By
keep
the
your
way, maybe you
insurance,
could inject some
asshole.
bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it.
He didn't say that.
I was
Same man.
said sarcastic.
He never
I knew
said
that.
put
I-
bleach
I
in
was
your
said
arm.
sarcastic.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about
Come on,
maybe
man.
having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out.
No.
If we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up.
He'll do it before you would have.
I want to pick up.
You
on
wouldn't
this
have
question,
closed
though.
down
You say the
travel,
public
asshole.
Can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In
You
fact,
were
he
going to
said
wait
that again
months
tonight.
to close down travel, let
Your
alone
running mate,
call
Senator
this
Harris,
a
goes
pandemic
further,
in this country.
saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed
Bullshit.
out.
Kamala said, well, I don't trust Donald Trump, so I don't know if I'll take it.
But you're saying
You
Senator
liar.
Harris is saying you can't trust the scientists.
Well, no. You
Yeah.
can't trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You
Yes,
can't
she
trust
did.
Said the
She did.
public health
Yeah,
experts,
right here.
quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to
She
do.
also said
but
she doesn't
there's
trust
millions of
Trump.
scientists. There's
He's not
thousands of
mixing
scientists
some
out there, like here at this
fucking
great
shot.
hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't
OJ,
depend on
OJ,
him.
then you don't know.
That's
You
not-
don't know this
they're
guy.
the people. And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and Fauci,
scientists that are in charge.
By the way,
they will have
and
the vaccine very soon.
Hey, Joe, guess what? He's president. He gets more
believe
info
for
than
a
you
moment
do.
what he's telling you, in light of all the lies he's told you about
lies?
the whole issue
Show me the
relating
lies.
to COVID, he still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you.
He
He's
did.
on record
He even
as
mentioned
saying
it during
He
his
panicked, or he
State of
just
the
looked at
Union, you
stock market.
shithead.
One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart?
Oh,
So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
let's have this debate.
And if
We'll
you
see
would have
who's-
had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
No,
If you would have
called
had
him on his lie.
the charge of what I was put through, I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
Yes.
And
We're
it's
going to
going
get
up
to the
Go back
economy in the next
fast.
segment, sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast. I look
Okay.
forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far,
Come
the
on,
two of
guys.
you
He
have
just
taken
called
very
Joe on
different
his
approaches.
lie
I'm
about
just
where he
going to respect
graduated and stuff.
How the virus
did.
is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to
Tell
provide
that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he's just shush for a minute.
And Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Chuck.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have
He's
a plan.
going to keep pissing him
He
off.
won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with him in the
Okay.
Senate.
But-
And he sits on his golf course. And I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably play
think
more than
about
I
it.
do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country. And I wanna
Exactly,
keep it open.
Sarge.
And we did
He
a great thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute,
Let
Joe.
him
Let me
finish,
shut
sir.
you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second. We want to.
Look at
he
Joe.
wants to shut down the country.
He is
We just went through it.
hoping
We
those
had to,
meds
'cause
don't
we
give
didn't know
out.
anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable.
Me,
we learned a
CF,
lot. Young
cystic
children
fibrosis.
aren't.
I'm very susceptible.
Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt by continuing. If
Yes.
you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election.
Yeah.
On
All right,
November
I want to
3rd.
move on to another
because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to
threat.
another
I
subject.
gotta respect
I-
that.
I
That's
want
why
to-
Democrat
gentlemen,
states are staying
I wanna move
closed
on
while
to another
Republican
subject.
states are
Well,
open.
that are shut down
Richard,
right
go
now.
ahead.
And the Republican states are
President
drowning in
Trump, you
illness.
have begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are
of
okay.
of
You have to
masks?
understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rallies.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will say
Vice
this.
President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. The Congress.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks.
Remember, the CDC originally said not to wear masks. Remember that?
Save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
They said was not to wear.
The opposite. They've also said
no serious person said the opposite.
Yeah, they did. CDC did, you liar.
Dr. Fauci
Yes.
said the opposite.
He did say it. It's on video. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'll turn my microphone down.
Mind. He said masks good. I'm okay with masks.
I want to ask you both about one last subject because
oh no, Chris.
your different approaches
Fauci
has
did
even
say
affected
that.
the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people. Outside, yes, sir.
No worse than the riots.
Vice President
no
Biden,
worse than the
you are
riots
holding
that
much
Joe and Kamala
smaller,
pushed.
Events with
nobody will show up.
People with.
What's true? Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You go first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
but are you not worried about it spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you not worried about
we
the
have
disease
a lot of
issues,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside.
Strange how the Democrats push the riots and protests is okay, but then Trump rally or going to church, no.
And Joe does the circles and has
going to the beach.
Okay. By the way, did you see one of the last
a great daily side?
And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, "No, stand back."
The mask thing, though, you're the president. You're tested a million times, so is everybody around you.
I don't
see where he needs to wear a
those
mask.
other people. That's what he said.
Joe lies about his mask all the time. He takes it off and gets in people's faces.
He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no negative effect.
No negative effect.
We've had no negative effect. And we've had 35,000, 40,000 people at these rallies.
Just quickly
show me the swell up.
Yes, I would. He's
from
totally
any of the Trump
irresponsible
rallies.
way in
You
which
can't.
He has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encourage them not to.
All right.
He's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the economy? Yes. The economy.
Oh, Biden screwed
is,
here.
I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected.
Faster than the Democrats said it would, and they're crying
about it. In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4%.
I wear my mask if I'm around a bunch of people daily side. Other than that, outside, nope.
To growth, which is going to be there,
I am
is not going to be nearly as big as they had
but I
expected.
know where I'm not going to get it.
President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery.
Hardcore.
Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close
exactly,
down.
Jay
He will
Watterson,
shut it down
100%.
again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people.
It's
between
power,
drugs
Jay.
and alcohol and
Look
depression.
all the power they've
When
taken.
you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening at some of your Democrat-run states where they
Hey,
have
I'm
these
just saying, Court
tough
Board,
shutdowns.
CNN themselves
And I'm
had to
telling
admit
you it's
openly on
because
air
they don't want
that
to
this
open
recovery
it.
is
One
doing
of them came out
amazingly
last
good.
week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election.
Exactly.
They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look at these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce. Look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country.
Yes, he already said he would.
Close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it.
It is.
We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right. Your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. as I said, posing the question.
And it's
the
all
president
about money
says
and
it's a
power. In
V-shaped
some
recovery,
countries,
you say
the
it's a
governments have
K-shaped
seized a shitload of power
recovery.
over this.
What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis.
Like you're not a millionaire?
Billionaires have made another $300 billion.
I made money
because
under
of his
Trump.
profligate tax
Poor guy.
proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how well are you doing?
Better.
This guy paid
We're all doing better.
$750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's just yeah, I understand.
I got a
You've
video
agreed
coming
to the
out
2
showing
minutes,
Joe
so please
himself
let him have it.
dodged over $500,000 in taxes in a 2-year span.
He has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history.
Pandemic.
Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there
Agreed,
dying,
Jay.
people who've been putting themselves in the way to make sure.
That's why one
that we
party
can
wants
all
to keep the
try to make it.
shutdowns and cause
And
more regulations, the
idea
other
that
one
he
doesn't.
is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis.
You can never, you can't do that until there's a
intention of doing
vaccine. You
anything
can't lock
about
us down
making it
until
better
then.
for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools. Why aren't schools open? Because it costs
kids
a
don't
lot
get
of money
sick.
to open them safely. You know, they were going to give his.
All right, guys, I'm going to mute just for a second here. Why are we opening schools? Look at the schools opened in other countries around the world. Kids are not spreading this. Kids are not getting this. If they come home and wash your hands or take a shower after school, they will not give it to you. Kids do not get this at all. Cystic fibrosis kids in my care center, my doctors are not worried about it. They told them to go to school. Even with my crap immune system, they're telling kids with it to go. You kids are not going to get this.
So did you.
People want their schools. No, people
They do.
want their
People
schools
voted.
open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their lives.
People
They'll
want
be
to be
careful,
safe.
but they want
No,
their
people
schools open.
people
I'm the one that
overwhelmingly
brought
want to get
back
the country
football.
country
By the way,
open.
I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
All right,
people of Ohio
Biden's
got to
spout death.
You know
We're going
how
to
I
get
found
back.
out? When he took the
Gentlemen,
phony
we're gonna
Death is
get
out.
to
The
your
fear vote's
economic
all he's
plans
got.
going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as
Fear
you well
votes.
know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes?
Who cares? He followed the
each
law.
of those 2 years.
I paid millions of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you,
I'm going to tell you right now, this is a moot point. I don't give a rat's ass. Everybody here goes and tries to get as many write-offs as possible. I got a video coming out that shows Joe himself dodged over $500,000 in taxes in 2 years.
the Board of Elections, there's a 118-page or so report
follow the laws.
that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good, and we have a very, I built a
Sir,
great
I'm asking
company.
you a specific question, which is...
let me tell you.
I understand all that.
Good
I
word.
understand all that.
But
I'm
stuck in
no,
Canada.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal
can't.
income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Why does it
Millions
matter?
of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750?
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to see
When?
it. But let
In
me just
Shala?
tell you, Chris, let me just tell you something, that it was the tax laws.
Joe tries to
I
get
don't
to
wanna
him,
pay
it doesn't
tax.
work.
Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go
Well,
through
we might,
the laws,
Jim,
and
or
that's what
Jay
it is.
Waters, we might
He
have a
passed a tax bill that
vaccine.
gave us all these privileges
But you know what?
for depreciation.
The whole
and
point
for
of we
tax
just can't
credits.
stay
We
closed down
built the
forever.
building, and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania.
And you're right about the
Avenue. You get a
mutations.
massive- which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code.
You were in government.
That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts, and I'm going to eliminate those tax cuts.
I got those tax cuts,
and
asshole.
make sure that we invest in the people who, in fact, need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe.
Well, I like how he's trying to piss Trump off and it's not
in
working.
47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you
no.
about your plans.
The guy just opened the door calling the worst president. He didn't fix the vets. I got friends in the VA.
If you
Obama
were to be elected
and Biden
president,
ignored him.
Focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy.
Joe was in government 47 years and made our tax laws. You can't bitch about it.
The analysis done by Wall Street firms points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be about buying American. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate a significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it before when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was your tax proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Our economy boomed like it's never boomed.
The economy is
Mr. President, Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for American people.
Excuse me.
But in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years,
like how Joe steals Trump's Buy America
more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery. Since economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in,
exactly, Sarge. There's a couple of fires, couple of boilers being fired up in Southern Illinois because of that too, because of Trump.
Half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look, we inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
booming.
Blew it.
He blew it.
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery since 1929.
Is it fair to say he blew it when fact, when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse me, Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you were number two.
No.
Chris. They said
exactly,
it would
Jim.
take a miracle
100% true.
to bring back manufacturing, I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
We
Part
did
of
not
my
agree.
standard fare.
I'm the guy that
He
brought
totally
back
gave
the
up on
automobile
manufacturing.
industry.
Let him.
We brought back. I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan.
Well, Daily
He
Side, you're
blew it.
bucking
They're
the trend
gone.
here,
He
but hey,
blew it.
more power
And in
to you
fact,
for sticking
they're
with your
gone.
guns.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year.
In my opinion,
Michigan
is
had
un-
the best year they've ever
That
had.
is
You
not
just
Many
need to
of our
read a little
companies
more
came in
about
from Germany,
what
from
Joe
Giant,
hasn't done.
went to
what
Michigan,
Trump
went to
didn't do.
Ohio.
They're not having
And
it.
they didn't come in
Wait,
Hey,
with you.
Mr.
more
Vice
power to
President.
you.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch. Down
All right, gentlemen.
18%.
Yeah.
China ate your lunch, Joe. And
China,
no wonder
they
your
did
son
nothing for
goes in
China.
and
Joe said
takes out-
China's good. Remember
He
that.
takes out billions of dollars, to
Yep.
manage. He makes millions of dollars. And
Exactly,
also,
Jay.
while we're at it,
NAFTA.
why is it, just out of curiosity, the
Fernando,
mayor of
welcome.
Moscow's wife gave your son
If I had to say, if you look at my hat, I'd say who's winning.
What did he do with Burisma
None
to
of
deserve
that
$180?
Daily Side
$180,000?
is saying
That's
Biden's
not an
winning.
answer.
None of that is true.
Oh,
It's
really? He didn't
totally
get
But
the
no,
$3.5
hey,
million?
Mr. President,
It's
Mr.
totally-
President, please.
NAFTA
Totally
sucked.
Totally discredited. And by the way,
Well, wait, he didn't get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr.
Ooh,
Vice
$3.5
President,
million.
Here it
it
is.
is not true.
Oh,
Here's-
really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But,
it's an open discussion, please.
Now remember,
You-
Sarge,
fact.
be nice.
there's-
My
it was
Daily
a-
Side is
issue,
here,
let
and
the
hey,
Vice
I'll get in
President
that.
answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000
No, it wasn't.
a month with no experience in energy?
Uh-oh,
Mr.
Hunter.
President,
job.
My son did nothing wrong. at
Bullshit.
Burisma,
I think he
and
did.
Mr.
Pay for
President,
play to get
let him
access to
answer.
you, Joe.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth.
No, you don't.
His position has been totally
already been proven.
thoroughly discredited.
Your son took all that money.
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it.
World Bank.
Exactly,
by-
Jay.
By everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even
Mr.
the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
So let me
under
ask you
oath,
this,
under-
Joe.
under
No,
oath.
go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to
Even
you.
the people under.
He got $3.5
he
million
testified-
from Moscow.
freaking out.
He testified
There it
under oath
goes.
in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I
really?
did it
I'd like to
honorably.
know who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the people who testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a good
Because
job.
Some people don't
well,
do a good
here's
job. With you,
Go
they
ahead.
say,
You
"Well,
get the-
I'll do
wait a
it."
minute.
He's
you get the
losing
final
it.
word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey,
this
let me just
person.
tell you.
No. I'm Mr. President.
80
I'm
years
Mr.
in
President.
Congress there,
That
Joe.
is
You should be
simply
good at
Why
it.
did
Not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look,
Yeah,
here's the
answer.
deal. We want to talk about families and ethics.
That's been proven.
I don't want to do that.
She gave you
his
$3.5 million.
family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already.
family,
No, let him go.
my
Access
family
to
lost
Joe.
a fortune by
Go ahead.
coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go ahead,
government.
sir.
And that's such a.
they're right
That's
here.
it, Mr.
That's such
President.
Every
a great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune
about
President.
my
coming and
family or
helping
his
us with
family. It's
government.
about
It is
your
too.
family,
They
the
didn't
American
collect
people.
$3.5 million.
He
Joe, you
doesn't-
attacked his
that's not
family
true.
multiple
He
times.
doesn't want to talk
the Dems.
about what you need. You, the American people.
He does.
It's about you. That's what we're talking about
you
here.
should
All right,
Not
that's the, end
about
of the,
here.
that's the end of the
Shouldn't have
segment.
taken the money.
We're moving on.
He didn't take
No.
that.
Well,
Vice
it's a
President,
but Chris,
no,
can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
He
I-
stood up.
No,
he stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened
no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
He did.
With $1 billion if
He
you
did.
got rid of
Is
the
absolutely
You know what, you're- wait,
not
stop.
You're on
true.
tape doing it.
You're going to
Not
have
tape.
True.
Gentlemen,
Is-
I hate to raise
Chris,
my voice, but
he's
it
on
seems
tape.
to be, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the
Got a
deal.
good point.
We have
That lawyer
6
was
segments. We have ended that
unrightfully.
segment. We're going
which
to go to
which
the next
one?
segment.
Problem
In
is they've
that
gone
segment,
after a bunch of
you each
Trump
are gonna
people
have two
illegally.
uninterrupted moments. In
The whole
those two
Russian thing was a
uninterrupted
hoax.
minutes,
It's
Mr.
been
President,
proven
you can
100
say
times.
anything you
Have you
want.
seen the paperwork come out
I've been
recently?
asked a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead.
They
But I
deleted
think that the
over
country would be
27
better
phones and
served
tablets
if we allowed
illegally
both people to
after
speak
investigating
with
Trump.
fewer
They
interruptions.
never let those
I'm
be
appealing to
inspected.
you,
They
sir, to do
illegally
that.
deleted it. So I don't want to hear it.
Well, frankly,
that.
you've been doing more interrupting
Oh, that's
than
all
he
right,
has.
but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less
there's
than,
plenty.
no, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago,
boy, this Joe
when he
better shut
talked
up on
about
this one.
very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President Trump, you
Sorry,
have often
trying to find
said
something,
that
guys,
you
there.
believe you have done more for black Americans than any president, with the possible exception.
If you don't vote for me,
Abraham
you ain't
Lincoln.
black.
My question for the two of you.
Explain that
is
one, Daily
why
Side.
should voters trust you
Explain his
rather than your
racist comments when he was a
opponent to
congressman
deal with the
40
race
years ago or
issues
30 years
facing
ago?
this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
Racist as heck.
It's about
comments.
equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has
You don't
done.
vote for me, you ain't black.
It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches. Their veins
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Spewing,
Jesus, Joe, have you really been around 180 years?
Bile and
You're
accompanied
kidding.
by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed.
He's going to invoke
And they
stuff
asked
from
the
happened
president when he
all
saw it,
those
he
years
said,
ago.
"We're very fine people on both sides. No president's ever said anything
How the
like
hell?
that."
It is
He's talking
Now,
about
second-
something that long
Second
ago?
point I'd make to you is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed, there was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him
Peaceful?
so he could walk across
When you're
to a
president,
church
what
and
are you
hold up
gonna
a
do?
Bible. And then
What are you going to
happened
do? You're going
after
to walk
that?
as
The bishop
president
of
through
that
there.
very
No,
church
Secret
said
Service will not
that it
let
was
that
a
happen.
disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who
Like
has
Obama,
used
who made
everything
race
as a
relations
dog
worse than
whistle
ever in
to
history.
try to generate
This is
racist
all from
hatred,
Obama.
racist division. This is a man who,
Remember
in
the
fact,
riots
you
under
talk about
Obama,
helping
folks.
African Americans.
We hadn't had any until Obama.
1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year,
Daily Side, if you're trying to say both are racist, you're
1 in 500
you need to study
African
Trump's
Americans.
history a little more.
This man is a savior of African Americans.
He's
This
done more
man
for them than you
cares
ever
at
have.
all. This man's done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that you have to look at what
The
he talks
lowest
about.
jobless
you have
rate
to look at what he did.
in the
And
history
what he
for
did has
black
been
and
disastrous
Hispanic people
for the
and
African
women.
American community.
Really?
So
What'd you do?
President Trump, you have 2 minutes.
What'd you
Why
do?
should Americans trust
Show me what
you
Joe has
over
done for them.
your opponent to deal with
he
racism?
did a crime bill, 1994.
Yeah.
Where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir. It's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why if you look
Don't
at the
vote
polls,
for me, you
I'm
ain't
doing
black.
better than any Republican has done in a long time because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that. Because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day, and they put up their hands, and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left.
Cities.
And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what,
he
the
does
people
now
of
because
this
it hit him in the
country
polls.
want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
He does now. Now he'll say it.
I want to return to
So
the
the poll
question
numbers
of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in
What?
education and
Where?
work, and
They were criminals.
in law enforcement, and the way in which it's enforced. But look,
If you're a
the vast
criminal
majority
and you
of
shoot
police
at the cops
officers
or
are
attack the
good,
cops, you're
decent,
going to get
honorable men
shot.
and women.
Doesn't matter what color.
They risk their lives every day.
More
to
white
take care
people
of
have died by police.
But there are some bad apples, and when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable.
Well, Daily
And
Side,
what
I
I'm
can
gonna
agree
do
with
as
that. But the
President
problem
of
is the guy on
United
the left
States
has, the
is
guy on the
call
right
together
has had 47
an
years in
entire
government to
group
do
of
something he's
people at
done
the White
nothing.
House. Well, everything from the civil rights
I'll
groups
take the
to
guy with
police
4
officers,
years
the
over the guy
police
with
chiefs,
47
and
when
we're
the guy
gonna
with
work this
47 has done
out.
less than the guy
We're
with
gonna
4.
work this out so we change
Simple
the way in
math.
which we have more transparency.
To me,
in
that's
when
math.
these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to
Hell's
to
yes,
George
Jay.
Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate.
What?
Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right.
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of a town
President Trump,
and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful.
protest?
Trump,
Except
I'm
you
not
were
happy that
bagging
say
and
it is.
bailing him out.
President
not
Trump,
say.
I'd like to continue with the
Yes,
issue
go
of
ahead,
race. I
please.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order
No, you
in a
won't.
moment. This month, your administration directed
They are
federal
really
agencies
helping
to
Biden
end
out with this one.
racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or
No, because it's
critical
stupid. It
race
says
theory.
automatically if you're born white,
Why
you're
did you
racist. Look it
decide
up.
to do that, to end
It
racial
says it.
sensitivity
If you're white, you
training?
are racist.
And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist.
It
I
is.
ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in
Go
our
look at the
military,
videos online of
in
that
our
training.
schools,
They openly say
all
if you're
over the
white, you're
place,
racist.
and
You must
know it,
accept
and
you're
so
racist,
does
and that's
everybody
it.
else.
That
And he
is
would know.
What is
fucking
radical
racist.
about
Totally racist.
racial sensitivity training, sir?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of
My
thousands
family
of
never
dollars
owned a slave.
to teach
I had a
very
huge
bad
family that
ideas
died on
and
the side of
frankly
the
very
North.
sick ideas. And really,
No
they were
racist bones in
teaching
my family,
people
so
to hate our
fuck that
country.
sensitivity
And I'm not
training.
going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country.
And they say hate
I'm not
white
going to
people.
allow
It
that
says
to
right
happen.
out.
Vice
White
President
people are
Biden?
all racist. You're
Nobody's
born
doing that.
racist, accept it.
He's
Oh,
the
you-
racist.
you just don't know.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about
You
this
don't
than he
know.
does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware
Really?
of what other people
Then can
feel
black
like,
people stop calling
what-
us names?
What insults them?
I
What
don't want to
is
hear whitey,
demeaning to
honky,
them.
Casper,
It's
cracker.
important that people
None
know.
of it.
They don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference.
Black
It
people
makes
use
a
more
gigantic
racial
difference in the
slurs
way a
than white
child
people ever
is
do,
able to
because
grow up
somehow
and have
a racial
self-
slur against
a
black
sense of
people is bad, but
self-esteem.
okay against white.
It's a little bit like how this guy and
Fact.
his friends look down on so many people. They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on people who don't have money. They look down on people
You're a
who are of
multi-millionaire,
different
Joe.
faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can
Trump
take this
said that
on
in
and we can
2016.
defeat racism
Vice
in America.
President Trump, sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division.
Yep.
There was hatred. You look at Ferguson. You go to many places. Look at
Shake your head,
Oakland.
Joe,
Look
it's
what
true.
happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Yeah.
But the reason
They still
is
walk
that
around,
the
hands up, don't shoot.
Democrats
That was
run
fake.
these cities
Ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime,
still haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you in
it, and a little
favor
bit
of law and order? Go
Yes,
ahead,
I'm
say
in
it.
favor.
You
Everybody's
asked a
in favor
question,
of
let him finish.
Law
You'll
and
lose-
order.
you'll lose his
Let-
left.
no, let him answer.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the
if
matter
attack
is,
the
violent
cops,
crime
you
went
go-
down
you get killed.
17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down
Gee, I
much
wonder
more
why.
in
He had-
ours.
All right, we're
You guys been
you're-
pushing it.
Mr.
Of the
President, you're going
United
to
States of America.
China, we
Mr.
were
President,
breaking every record in the book.
Mr. President, you're going to be very happy because
And the
we're now going to
places
talk
we-
about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly
states.
my question.
Democratic-
There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer, particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party issue?
I think it's a party issue. You could bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where
show me the comparison in the spikes between Democrat and Republican. I've already looked them up.
New York, where
I suggest you all do the same.
Like nobody's ever seen anything. The numbers are going up.
Chicago, New York, San Francisco.
Crime.
LA,
it is crazy what's
Denver,
going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone.
100%.
By the way, our suburbs would be gone, and you would see problems like you've never seen.
He would know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
So
I was
wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950.
Joe, you've lived in government for the last 47 years.
Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal with the environment.
I live in the suburbs.
They're being
I don't see
flooded.
people around me
They're
dying
being
all the
burned
time,
out
including the
because
idiots down
his
the street who
refusal
had a
to do
huge
anything.
party
That's
during
why
the
the
major
suburbs
COVID
are in
march.
trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order, though. And in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie-Sanders task force, you talked about, quote, reimagining policing. Yeah. First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support?
It means.
Let me, if I might finish the question. What does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter call for community control of policing?
Look, what I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding it, his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what they're talking about, Chris. That's not what they're talking about. He's talking about defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law support.
Look,
he has no law enforcement
that's not
support.
true.
Almost nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead. Think. We have time.
We don't have time to do anything.
All right.
No law enforcement
group that came out and supported
I think, gentlemen,
you.
I think I'm going to take back the moderator's role,
and
I want to get to another subject, which is the issue of protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is, as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now, have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you stop the days and months of violence in Portland?
I don't hold public office now. I am a former
you
vice
had
president.
47
I made it clear.
Fudging
I made
years.
it clear in my public statements.
You don't get to have an excuse after 47 years in government.
It should be prosecuted, and anyone who commits it.
But you've never called for the people, the leader. Excuse me, sir. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to bring in the National Guard and knock off 100
They were bailing these people out. Some people they bailed out killed people.
If he just stay out of the way. Look here.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing.
I sent in the U.S. Marshals to get the killer of the young man in the middle of the street. They shot him, and for 3 days,
President Trump,
Portland wouldn't do anything. I had to send in the U.S. Marshals. They took care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all about.
Doesn't mean he did it. That just means it helps his cause by deference, by you guys causing it.
Conway.
That's why you guys switched your positions, you morons.
But here's the point.
You were amping it up.
That's what he is, keeps trying to rile everything up. He doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying,
let's
get
everybody
together, figure out how to deal with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire.
How?
Constantly. And every single solitary time.
Okay, and to end this,
this segment,
I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have
this is where
repeatedly
Daily Side, if
criticized...
you've got an opposite opinion here, you need to voice it.
You have repeatedly...
I want to know how he's pouring it
made a statement.
I'm asking you...
Fire the flames by invoking...
I would love to...
if you want to switch seats...
We could very quickly.
We could do that, but I'm
send in the National Guard. It would be over. There'd be
Joe
no
and his
problem.
people, the ones
But they
bailing
don't
these
want to
people out, and
accept
they
the
pushed the
National
riots,
Guard.
and they were okay. Kamala said they're not going to stop, and they shouldn't stop until it hurt them in the polls.
Specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups.
Because they're
but
pieces of
are
shit.
you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and
did.
militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha, and as we've seen in Portland?
Show me the white supremacist groups doing this.
Do it.
Well, go ahead,
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Oh,
Militia.
bullshit. It is to an organization.
His FBI director
Antifa's
said.
not an
No,
organization.
we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
When a bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is
administration
bad.
tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no
What
idea.
the fuck? Antifa's not a
is
thing.
a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving on to the Trump and
you ought to be
Biden
careful with
records.
them. They'll overthrow
Right
you.
there.
When a
Should
president,
never be
I'm
president.
going to ask a question.
The Daily
When a
Side,
president
dude, if you're
seeks
still
a
there,
second
feel free to
term,
speak up. I want you
it
to
is
respond
generally
to
a
that.
referendum on his
He says
record.
Antifa doesn't
but Vice
exist?
President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's
People from
sayings,
Antifa have
which is, "Don't
shot people
compare
that had
me to
admitted,
the
yes, they're
Almighty,
Antifa."
Compare me to the alternative. And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things where I had to fight both
No, they're
flanks
not,
and
Jay
behind me
Watterson,
and
not at
and
all.
above,
There
has
are
never
tons
been
of
an
black people in the Proud
administration
Boys.
that's done what I've done.
And
the greatest,
Hispanics.
before COVID came in, the greatest economy in history, lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in
Daily
years.
Side, I'm
They
going
were
to kind of
calling,
disagree.
And they were saying
one
it's
party
time
is
maybe,
amping up
and
the
then what
riots.
happened?
One
We got
party's
hit, but
letting
now
it
we're
happen.
building
One
it back
party
up
kept
again.
bailing the people
a
out.
rebuilding of the
One
military,
party
including
kept
Space Force,
letting
and
them out
all
of
the
jail
other
the same
things.
night they were
A
arrested.
fixing of
Who
the
refused to do
the
anything about
VA,
these riots
which
until
was
it
a
hurt them in the
mess
polls.
under him.
Or like the mayor of New
308,000
York,
people died
the
because
mayor
they
of
didn't have proper health
Chicago,
care.
the
He
mayor of
was a
Seattle,
mess.
until it came
And
to
we
their
now got a
houses.
91%
And then suddenly they want to do
approval
something about it.
at the VA, our vets.
So
we
yes,
take care
it
of our
is one
vets.
party's
but
problem.
we've rebuilt our military.
I don't see
The
a
job
single
that we've done-
Republican
and
out
I'll
there
tell you
doing this
Some
stuff.
people say maybe the most
Show me the
important.
Republican
By the
groups
end of
burning
the
down a
first
city.
term, I'll have
I'm just saying,
approximately
show it.
300
Until then,
federal
it is
judges
one
and Court of
party's
Appeals
people doing
judges,
it.
300, and hopefully 3 great
And I'm
Supreme
not yelling
Court
at you, I'm
judges,
just stating a fact.
justices.
There
That
are
is
no
a
Republican groups,
record,
even during
the likes
Obama,
of which very few
burned down
people. And you know
cities.
one of the reasons I'll have so many judges? Because President Obama and him left me 128
I don't see right-wing groups out there killing people.
judges to fill.
Look
When
at all
you
the people
leave
dead
office,
from
you
these
don't leave any
left-wing
judges. That's
riots.
Like, you just don't do that. They left
Just saying,
128
find me the
openings.
right-wingers
and if I
killing
were a
people.
member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128
Like I said, I'm not yelling,
openings,
just talking
you
louder
can't
'cause
be a
it's-
good
no,
president.
show me the
you
facts.
can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you
Jim.
because it gives us almost. It'll probably be above that number by the end of
Yeah,
this term.
no, show me a single
300 judges,
right-wing group.
it's a
Let's go back to
record.
Obama.
Looking at
If you
both
talk about how
your
they hated
records,
Obama because he's
why
black,
should
fine.
Voters
And I'm not saying
elect
you,
president
they did say that
as
then.
opposed to President
Show
Trump.
me the
You have
white
2
wing
minutes
groups that
uninterrupted.
burned down a single
Under this
city,
president, we
attacked a
become
bunch of
weaker,
people, killed a bunch of people,
sicker,
who are threatening the president, threatening the
divided,
government. Show me
more
the
violent.
groups. Show me all this
When I
violence from
was
white
Vice President,
white
we inherited
wingers,
a recession.
then and now.
I was
You
asked to
cannot.
fix
It doesn't
I
exist.
did. We left
It
him
is a
booming
one-party
economy,
problem.
and he
This is a
caused
party
the
that's still
recession.
whining about losing the
With regard
2016
to
election and the
being weaker,
government fighting
The
back.
fact is that
This is the United States government, the deep-seated government, people fighting back
take any of his stuff.
because you made
He's
a
Putin's puppet.
choice.
He
The Americans
still
made a choice and
refuses
chose a
to even
non-government
say
guy.
anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
Your son got
And-
$3.5 million.
It didn't exist.
And by the way,
It was
my
disproven.
Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it.
Well,
and
your side, yeah. Well,
why don't
Joe's
you
changed
observe
the
what
stuff
your
too.
campaign agreed to
So
as a
too
ground
bad.
rule, okay, sir?
Joe
He never
changed
keeps
stuff.
his word. Can you add
No,
back
no,
He's
I'm
a
not
person
asking.
that's
That was a
not telling
rhetorical
the truth, that's
question.
all.
Can you
Go
add
ahead,
back
sir.
30 seconds?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
you may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
So,
Good luck,
thirdly,
Daily Side. Hey,
we're
Daily
poor.
Side.
The
No matter
billionaires
what,
have
whether you
gotten
agree or
much-
disagree with us or
much
not,
more
get out
wealthy
and vote.
by a tune of over
And thanks for
$300 to
hanging out,
$400
even though you
billion
were definitely in the
more
minority
just
here.
since COVID.
So, and trust
You
me,
in the home, you
everybody
got
here, from
less.
Jim,
You're in
Corkboard,
more
Fire
trouble than you
Sarge, the
were
rest of us,
before. In
JW,
terms
we
of
all
being
appreciate
more
you
violent.
actually being here and
When we were in
staying
office,
in,
there were
even though we are
15%
definitely on
less
opposite sides.
violence in America than there is today.
That right there, by
He's
the way, is the
president
difference
of
between
the
Trump
United
supporters
States.
and Biden
It's
supporters.
on
Just
his
letting you know.
watch.
But
with
have a good
regard
night and
to
good luck on
more
your
divided,
assignment.
The nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers.
He
and
didn't.
being-
That was bullshit.
And,
That was a
just
total
being
lie.
suckers. My son.
This
was
asshole's
in
going to quote a
Iraq.
lie.
He spent a year there.
Everybody in that room said it never
He
happened.
He got the Bronze Star. He got the
Including a
Conspicuous
guy who
Service
hates
Medal.
Trump, said it never
He was
happened.
not a loser. He was a
didn't say
patriot. And the people left behind there were
Right here,
heroes.
Joe Biden
And
should
I
not only be
resent
taken out of the
like
race,
hell.
he's put in jail
I'm
for
talking
lying.
of my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about
I don't know,
He
Bo.
didn't
I know
say it.
Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know,
got
Bo.
thrown. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
For
wasn't dishonorably
cocaine
discharged.
use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
Oh!
Once you
None
became
of that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow.
That
did.
is simply
and various
not
He was a
other
broke
places.
drug addict
He
loser
was a
until Joe
fortune.
became
And
VP.
my
Look
son-
it up.
And he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem.
I know
He's
tons of
overtaken
military
it.
people.
He's-
They love
he's-
Trump.
He's fixed
They
it.
know
He's
Trump
worked
did not
on
say
it.
that. Trump
And
has
I'm
always
proud
been
of
for the
him.
military,
was
even
he
before
given
he was
tens of
president.
millions
All right.
But he wasn't given
All right.
tens of millions of
He was
dollars.
given
That
tens
is
of
totally
millions of
that's been
dollars.
He
totally
was given.
President Trump,
discredited.
we've already been through.
Totally discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear
No, they
about
wouldn't.
more substantial
No, they wouldn't.
subjects.
Shut up,
Well,
Chris. This is a debate.
As the moderator, sir, I'm going to make
I know,
a
but when
judgment
somebody
call here.
gets $3.5 million
Okay,
from
right.
the
Let's
mayor
talk
of
about-
Moscow,
That's
I
not
think it's a
true.
terrible
That
thing.
report is totally
Why did
It is
discredited.
not. It's been
I-
proven.
Mitt Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers' money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
You know, I'd like to talk about
Romney.
climate change.
So would I.
Okay. The forest fires
Of
in
course
the
you
West
would,
are
Joe.
raging now. They have burned millions of acres. They have displaced hundreds of thousands of people. When state officials there blame the fires on climate change, Mr. President, you said, I don't think the science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. You have rolled back a number of Obama environmental records. What do you believe about the science of climate
Agreed
change?
on the bricks, Fire
and
Sarge.
what will you do in the next 4 years to confront it?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look
Yes, he
at
does.
our numbers
This
right
is a
now,
fact. Look it up.
we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses.
Nope.
Our businesses aren't put out of
Our carbon
commission.
footprint
If
has
you
actually
look at
shrunk
the
under
Paris
Trump.
Accord,
Look
it
it
was
up.
a disaster from our
freed up
standpoint.
business and yet our
people
carbon
are
footprint
actually
shrunk.
very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees that are years old, and they're like tinder, and leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette in there, the whole forest burns down. You've got to have forest management.
No problem,
What do you
Daily
believe-
Side. Go
what
do
do
your-
you
go
believe
get some
about
sleep,
the
man.
science of climate
And thank
change,
you.
sir?
I believe that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air, immaculate water, and
Thank
do
you, Fire
whatever else
Sarge.
we
Yes,
can that's
agreed.
good. You know, we're
Thank
planting
him for
a
hanging
billion
out with us,
trees,
guys.
the billion tree project.
He was definitely a
And it's
lone
very
man
difficult.
here, the lone gunman.
Human pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of
I
this
think
planet?
a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. I think to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do
He's
better
right, to an
management
extent.
of our forests.
But they do need
Every
management.
year, I get the call.
I'm going to say something because
California's
Corkboard is here,
burning.
guys.
California's burning.
And this is
If
something we don't
Cal-
need to. I'm saying Corkboard is here. He knows this. Look at the forest fires on satellite. They stop right at the Canadian borders. And I shit you not, look it up. They stop right at the Canadian borders out west. You know why? Because Canada still has forestry management. So far, they have not gone so woke where they go and destroy their forestry management. Out west here in America, we destroyed our forestry management. They don't do backfires, burn-offs. They don't get rid of old deadfall and everything else here in America, but they do in Canada. The forest fires do not go burning up there because of that. That is our forestry management problem, not global warming.
Of
We've already proven these fires are started by people, by the way.
Back the Obama
How's that global warming?
Clean Power Plan, which limited
global warming has nothing to do with arson or people doing a gender reveal party.
Driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution?
Because more jobs and it's not creating pollution.
What's
Show me the
happening is
pollution.
the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car.
Yep.
And you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen, because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old.
Yes.
If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by $3,500.
In the case of California, they've simply ignored
No, but you would take a lot of cars off the
Heavily,
market because people would be able to afford a car.
Yes.
Now, and
the old
by way,
cars
we're
off the
gonna
road,
see
get
how
the
that
newer
turns
ones on,
out.
yes.
But a lot of people agree with me. Many people.
He's right.
The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And and I'm okay with electric cars too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars.
You used to be able to buy a pickup truck, brand new, fully loaded, for $15,000 to $20,000. Now these things are running $50,000 to $70,000.
Climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2 trillion in green jobs. You talk about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035.
Can't do it.
And zero net emissions of greenhouse gases by 2050.
No country can do it.
The president says a lot of these things would tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's absolutely wrong, number one. Number two, if in fact
green energy also is not reliable. Look at California, the brownouts.
I was able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas
and run
oil.
nuclear.
Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to renewable energy, number one.
It doesn't work.
Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles, making sure.
Well, Jim, of course, they have no stress. America's got the world supporting the world on his shoulders. Canada's up there relaxing. They're unstressed.
We're going to build an economy that, in fact, is going to provide for the ability us to take 4 million
renewable
buildings
energy
and
is
make sure
not
that they,
reliable.
In fact, are weatherized in a way that, in fact,
some of you guys are from my area.
Emit significantly less gas.
Think of around how I'm in the Midwest. Think of how often we've had days with no sun and no wind. Your renewable wind and solar does not work. Does not support everything.
Not only not costing people jobs, creating jobs.
Will not.
Creating millions of good paying jobs.
No, it won't.
Not
it will
15
not
bucks an hour,
away, right,
but
Pepper?
prevailing wage.
My other cat, you guys
by having a new infrastructure that in fact is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart. And talk about someone who has no relationship with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down.
Corkboard, what are you guys going to do? The slingshots?
More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States.
Now you just throw matches across the border.
Instead of doing something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then you're going to have significant economic consequences.
What about the argument that President Trump basically says that you have to balance
exactly, Jay Watterson, which is what we just did here, guys.
And he's drawn his line.
We did the First Amendment.
Well, he hadn't drawn
the Daily
line.
side was not agreeing with us, but we also did not crap on him for a separate opinion. We may have thought he was uneducated at times.
But this is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is the guy who says that Well, the fact that
Totally, Jim. That's why
it's
California
all
and some of these
true.
greenie
About
states
the
have
Green New Deal,
blackouts.
and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's
blackouts.
$100 trillion.
I'm talking
Imagine
about
the super cold winters here while you're trying to do wind and
and
solar with
rebuild
snow on
the
your
building.
solar
It's
panels.
the
That is
dumbest,
not-
most
that
ridiculous,
is not
where
the
airplanes are out of
Wait a minute, sir.
business, where two-car systems are out, where they
Not
want to
true.
take out the cows, too.
Not
You know, that's
true.
not true either,
They
right?
did Cos-
This is
Ocasio-Cortez
this
said
is
it.
a
Get rid of cows.
$100 trillion.
Look,
That's more money than our
is-
country could make
He's blinking
in
again.
100
Simply
years if we're
not
going
the case.
All right, let me
true.
destroy our
because I
country.
actually wait a minute.
He is
sir. I
stating
actually
everything that the
have
Democrat
studied
Party
your
has said they
plan,
want to do.
and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building 1.5 million energy-efficient homes.
Where's that
So
money
the question
coming from?
becomes, the president is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and
my
hurt
other
the
cat.
economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good-paying jobs.
But let him finish, sir.
He doesn't know how to do that.
She's my pretty
$1
girl.
billion.
She used to
The
be.
fact
She was a
is, it's
shop
going to create
kitten.
millions of
Where's ya?
good-paying jobs, and these tax incentives to people for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon.
That was
on
a
them,
joke,
maybe.
you
I never
idiot.
said that.
Well, you can't make a
He
joke
made
around
it up.
Democrats. Here's my problem.
And here's the deal.
Is there a single joke you can make
we're
around a
gonna be in
liberal? And they're going,
position
oh my
where
God, he
we
said
can
this.
create
That's why you idiots can't meme
hard,
either.
Good jobs by making sure
You guys
the
can't do stuff
environment
like this 'cause
is
you're just like, that's
clean
fake news.
and
It's
we
a jo-
all are
it's
in
a
better
joke.
shape. We spend billions of dollars now, billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa.
They've always been here.
They didn't happen before. They're
Bullshit.
because of global warming.
Oh, God,
we
they've
make
always
up
been here.
15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen,
Wait a minute,
We
Chris,
spent
why didn't
billions
they do
no
it
other
for
country did.
47
Didn't
years?
put any
You were
limits on
vice
other
president.
countries.
Why didn't you
Only
get the
us.
world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does,
Mm-hmm.
India does, they all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is
not
not
$20
my
billion.
plan.
too.
That's
The Green
well,
New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is not
building.
my plan.
You want to
All
rebuild
right,
every
If he knew
you have to-
anything
wait, no, no,
about,
wait.
if he knew
Gentlemen,
He
anything
made a
about,
statement.
He
about
just
the
pissed on
military. He
all
said
the
I said
super
something
lefties
about
that
the
love him.
military. He and his friends
When he
made
just
it
said
up,
the
and
Green
then
New
they went with
Plan
it. I
is
never
not
said
his.
it.
He just
That
pissed
is
them
What
not
he
off.
did
true.
is
You're
he
done in
said
this segment.
he called the military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
and he
did
said
not
it on
say
tape.
that.
He said
Mr.
stupid
Please,
bastards. He
sir,
said it.
stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that
play
to
it.
the
Stop.
military.
Play it.
Go ahead.
You're
Mr.
on
Vice
tape.
President answered his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all those rantings.
I'm having a little trouble myself, but and about the economy and about this question of what it's going to cost.
The economy.
I mean, the Green New Deal and the idea of what
It doesn't
your
matter.
environmental
He
change
just
is.
lost
Green
every
New Deal
deep liberal
will
when he said
pay
the Green
for
New Deal is
itself
crap.
as we move forward. We're not going to build plants that, in fact, are great polluting plants.
So do you
We're going to
support
build
the Green New
There's
Deal?
clean fire
Pardon
coal
me?
plants.
You support
No, I don't support the Green
Oh,
New
you
Deal.
don't? Oh, well, that's a
You
big
let-
statement.
I
That
support
means
the
you
that.
oppose the radical left.
I
That's done.
support
Dope.
the Biden plan that I
Oh.
put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which
Oh,
is
we got a
different
name.
than what he calls the radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment, election integrity. As we meet tonight, millions of Americans
Democrats are
receiving
running from their
mail-in ballots
the
or
mail
going to vote early.
ballots, which they were pushing.
How confident
They found out they're idiot
should we
people
be
can't fill them
that
out
this
right.
will be a fair election? And what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks? Because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election
That's
Day.
stupid. Should
What
never
are
be
you
allowed.
prepared to do to reassure
A couple states now said they can accept ballots up to a week after the election. No postmark, no signature
this
verification.
final segment?
Fake.
Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let
It's
people
all the
vote.
states
They
where
should go
Biden
to
is losing.
iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director, and as well as the FBI Director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being
Go to
manipulated
DuckDuckGo
cheating.
and search.
They said that.
For all the
fact is
election
that
problems
there are
they've
going to be
had the
millions of
last
people because
year
of
in this
COVID
country.
that are going to be
Look it
voting
up.
by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida. Number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people.
I don't care who you are,
because he's trying
Biden, Trump, or Mickey Mouse
to scare
voter.
people into
Vote
thinking that
in
it's not going to be
person.
legitimate. Show up and vote.
Wait a minute.
The outcome
You
of
were
this
saying
election.
don't show
Vote,
up before you
vote,
ass.
vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted, and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that'll be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand.
Remember, this is the same asshole that said, do not vote in person, mail in.
What this
and then he voted in person and
like
said, oh, everybody get out there and vote in person.
Is it going to change? You're going to get 4 more years of these lies.
Hey, D-Dub.
President, 2 minutes.
So when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people,
shut up.
There was no transition, because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won, and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country, and we've caught them.
It's not
We've
denial
caught them
anymore
all.
to any of your
We've
Democrats.
got it all on tape. We've caught them all.
It's
And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that, because we caught you in a sense, and President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing, it's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well, because people are really happy with the job we've done. But you know what? We won't know. We might not know for months, because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud, and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say losing 30 or 40% of the
by
November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election. In theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that, all run by Democrats.
2 minutes is 2 minutes.
All run by Democrats. It's
President Trump,
you're
going to be able to continue. You have been charging for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud. But in 2018, in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today, where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them. We don't like them. We don't like them.
But what are you going to do about it? If there are millions of ballots going out right now,
what you do is you go and vote. You do a solicited ballot, and that's okay, or you go and vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people
you go and vote. you go and vote
but
like
what I'm
they
saying is, what are you gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're sending. They have mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia. Mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country.
There is no.
This is not.
There is no.
This is
evidence
not
of
going to
that.
end well.
There is
Okay.
no
This
evidence
is
of that.
not going
Vice
to
President
end well.
Biden,
5 states
in fact,
have had
go ahead,
mail-in
sir.
ballots for the last decade or more. 5, including 2 Republican states. And if you don't have to
Thank you,
solicit
Jim.
the ballot, it's sent to you. It's sent to your home. What we're saying is, they're saying is
Hey,
that it has
when
to
you
be
have a loaded
postmark
potato, you gotta
by
put
the
salt on
time-
that puppy.
by Election Day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted.
No, it
He's just
shouldn't.
afraid of counting the votes.
They're not even allowing having
I want
postmarks.
to continue with you on this.
Don't-
President Biden.
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes
Don't
this
be a
happen.
tater hater.
Excuse me. Vice President Biden, the biggest problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable number, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are
Yeah, I
thrown
saw
out
that, Jay
because
Waters, and
they
holy
have
crap.
not been properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they missed
be fraud.
the
A
A
deadline.
lot of us
So
don't
the
realize
question
how
I
much
have
crap there is
are
going
you
on in Canada.
concerned
There's a lot of problems
that the
with
Supreme Court,
the
with
gun
Justice
grab,
Barrett, will
SJWs, a
settle
lot of
any dispute?
immigrants, and a
I'm
lot of
concerned
racism
that
going on
any
in
court
Canada
would
still
settle
too.
this, because here's
So
the
I
deal.
really hope
when you
hope the
when
best
you
for the
file,
for Canada
when you
up
get
there.
a ballot and you fill
Man.
it out, you're supposed to
guys
have
don't
an
need it.
affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that
No,
this is me.
it's wrong.
You
Look it
should
up.
be
Look at the
able
court
to, If in
rulings.
fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you. That is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me, Chris, when you
I
have
a final-
80 million ballots
Gentlemen, I have a final
sending
question.
and swamping the system, you know it can't be done. You know it can't, and already
All
there's
right.
been
So now,
fraud.
Mail service delivers
wait a minute, gentlemen. In the
185
final
million
question
pieces of
is,
mail a day.
in
million
8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking.
It's
in
a-
8
it's a
states,
disgrace.
election workers are prohibited, currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process.
Actually,
ballots,
Corkbird,
even
we'd
take them
probably
out of the
make it about
envelopes
4
and
states,
flatten
3 or
them
4 states.
until Election Day. That means that it's
we'd welcome
likely,
you to
because there's
America
gonna be
either
a
way.
huge
I know
increase
we would.
in mail-in balloting, that we are not going to know on election night
That's
who the
crap.
winner is.
See, that's
that
why
it
we
could
can't be doing
days,
this.
It could be weeks.
Could be months.
Until we
Yeah,
find out who
until
the,
they start finding
the
more
new president
ballots.
is. So first for you, sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight
Gee, who's
that you
doing
will not
civil
declare
unrest?
victory
Biden
until
voters.
the election has been independently
They have
certified?
already threatened it.
President Trump, you
I'm
go first.
urging my supporters to go into the polls and
Guys,
watch
remember, hit the
very
thumbs up if
carefully,
you are liking the
because
stream,
that's
and
what
do
has to
share 'em out in the
happen.
future.
I am urging them to do it.
Only because it does
As you
help
know,
with the
today there
algorithm,
was a
maybe
big
this
problem.
channel will
In
grow.
Philadelphia, they went
We'll
in
see.
to watch. They were called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Bad things. And I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair
You're urging
election,
them what?
I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell
what-
you
what
what,
does that
from
mean,
a
not go
common
along?
sense,
Does that mean you're
I'll
gonna
tell you
tell
what
your
it means.
people to take to the
It means you have a
streets?
fraudulent
Kirk
election. You're
And what
sending
do you
out
got
no
80
people.
million
What
would you
ballots.
do
They're
about that?
they're not equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
they cheat. They cheat. Hey, they found ballots in a waste paper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name
right.
military ballots. They were military.
Yeah.
They all had the name Trump
Yep.
on them.
Vice President
think
Biden,
that's good?
Vice President Biden, final
Yeah.
question for you. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm while
Good
the
luck.
vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently
Yeah, this could be
certified?
months and months
Yes,
and months.
Here's the deal. They
They're
count
setting
the
this
ballots,
up.
as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since at the end of the Civil
Oh, I know,
War.
Corkbird. We got more people
and
in,
that's what's happened.
well,
gonna happen.
Illinois,
Why
I
was
think,
it
down
not-
here than you
why
guys
is
have
it
in
for
Canada.
them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established
honest.
at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots.
Yes, there's
that
tons of
somehow
it
it's a
going
fraudulent process.
It's already been
is.
established.
Take
Take a look at Carolyn.
No
Wilson's
signature
race. I don't know.
verification,
You had an
no
opportunity to
postmark
respond.
date
Go ahead.
needed.
They have no idea what
Vice
Because they
happened.
can
President
send
Biden,
it
go
in
ahead.
days
He
after
has
to
no
try to
idea what
sway
he's
the
talking
election.
about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared, after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not
won't
me,
be.
I'll support the outcome, and I'll be a president not just for the Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans. And this guy,
I want to see an honest ballot count.
Gentlemen, you say that's the end of
Chris,
it? This is the end of this
An
debate?
honest ballot count.
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates.
Anybody
that you've
think
agreed
Biden
to
does any
engage in. We want to
campaigning the
thank
next few
Case
days?
Western Reserve University
Just
and the
curious.
Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. The 2 vice presidential nominees, Vice President
I
Mike
can't
Pence
wait to
and
see
Senator
that.
Kamala Harris, will debate at 9 p.m. Eastern that night. We hope you watch.
Epic.
Until then, thank you.
I want to see the VP debate
good luck.
almost more than the presidential debate. All right, guys. Let's stop this. Let's see. Remove. Poof. Puff. Oh, thanks, guys. What do you think? What do you think? My opinion is I definitely think Biden did better than a lot of people expected, but yeah, you can see his blinking eyes. He was concentrating down. He was reading crib sheet. He had been prepared. He had weeks off. Remember, he barely did anything. When he was out there, he still made gaffes, huge ones. I think I think this helped Trump more than Biden. I really, and I do. I'm not saying that because I'm a Trump guy. I really think it did help him more. I don't think Trump and Biden speak with Joe Rogan. Biden people already said they won't do it. They already said they won't do it. Trump said, go. Okay. That's another thing there. You got one guy that's going to say one thing that says, I'll do it, whatever. I'll talk to anybody, meet with anybody, answer questions from anybody. Another guy goes, nope, 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 nope. The one's presidential material, the other one's not. Yeah, Urbexy, he has, but he's also been caught lying a bunch. He was caught lying if you look up from the 80s. There's a video out there of all the lies he did. Back then, they called him out of the news. He lied about his education. He just did it again. Heck, just a couple weeks ago, he just said, I went to an all-black college, or a black heritage college. No, he didn't. So he keeps lying, though, Rebecca. See, that's my problem. He lies. He panders. He's on the USS Pander Prize. Let's see, where's that at? I made a little gift for that. Make it, sorry, a little shot on Captain Picard's make it so. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the guy could be president. I don't think he should be president. I think he's mental. But yeah. Biden is running that first absentee campaign, yeah. I don't know, Urbexy. See, Trump always looks like that, hence orange man bad. He always looks orange. Thing is, Biden got a lot more pissed off than Trump. Trump got under his skin hardcore, and you could see it. Biden was trying to piss Trump off. Trump didn't get all pissy. He's always orange. But you cannot have campaign ballots coming in. Pennsylvania and like 2 or 3 other states said no postmark date needed. So you can wait till the election. Okay, let's say Trump is winning Pennsylvania by 3,000 votes. Suddenly they just find 4,000 ballots and they show up no postmark date and their signature, they don't even take time to verify them. Don't have to match them anymore in those states. That's bullshit. That is election tampering. And he's right. In Pennsylvania, they're already finding they're losing huge amounts of ballots are disappearing. So it's something wrong here. Vote in person or don't vote. If you are too lazy to go vote, but you can go to the grocery store, go to the liquor store, go bike up your pot, or go riot, then yeah, you don't need to be paying attention to our election. I say so, Fire Sarge. I will say Chris Wallace needs to. Yes, Corkboard beat me to it. Chris Wallace bailed Biden out and saved his ass a bunch. I do not think they should have. Hey, D-Dub, thanks by the way for hanging, buddy. Do you guys think that they should have released that Chris Wallace should have told everybody what he was going to ask, what the topics were? I don't. And that's not a debate. That's something you can study for. While Trump's out campaigning, remember how good Biden did tonight. He relaxed for 2 weeks almost, barely did anything. Did a few stops, but barely any. He was at home getting IV drugs. Trust me on that one. There's been a lot of stuff going around about that. But they're studying. It took him 2 weeks to study for this. Well, Trump's out running around the country. Who can handle it mentally? Not Biden. But what do you guys think? Do you think it was okay for them to release the topics 2 weeks ago? I don't. I do not. Urbexy, yes, it was great TV, though. Fire Sarge, yeah, and I don't mind a moderator maybe having a little bit of a side, but yeah, he did really help Biden out a lot. Wait for them to pass the blunt. Yeah, we wish. Well, Urbexy, that might be what try to level Joe out. No prep. No, prep is not a debate. Yes. You should not know what is going to ask by the moderator, what the questions from the people, anything. It's a debate. Here comes a question. Think on your feet and answer it. This idiot bitch is nowhere near anybody. She's wearing a mask. By the way, her pretty mask doesn't work. That's NBC, by the way. Her mask is stupid. Doesn't work. And she's nowhere near anybody. The questions were all softball for her. Yeah, they were pretty soft. Even though the thing about Hunter Biden, Trump got here, Biden opened that door. Woo! What do you think? My advisor, my cat of color. Hi. Your collar's missing again. You're going to fight with a puppy, didn't you? Yep. What do you guys think? I'm actually super looking forward to the VP debate. I cannot wait to see Pence up against heels up Kamala. That pandering bitch. Hear what she said about Tupac the other day? Who's your favorite rapper alive today? Tupac. He's not alive. He died 20 years. There's just so many. Pandering bitch. Adrenochrome. Yes. Exactly what's going on, Jay. Yeah, there's no way the guy is so mental 1 second he can't walk, can't stand, can't stay awake, can't answer what color the sky is. And then on a debate stage like tonight, he's decently sharp. He was wrong and stupid, but decently sharp. Yeah, he has definitely got a problem. I've had family. My wife's had family with dementia and Alzheimer's. And yeah, he is, yeah. The blinking tonight. Oof. Yeah, he's definitely on adrenochrome. Well, remember, they did hang out with those people that were harvesting it. Yeah. I really, really want to see Pence destroy Kamala. I think Pence will manage to open his eyes. I have no idea, Rebecca. All I know is Pence compared to Kamala, that lying bitch, she says anything. She is really some piece of something. I don't know, Rebecca. Biden's eyes are half closed. Most he's always looking down. Looking down. What was he looking at? Probably notes on the podium. I think they were allowed to have notes. That's crap. Should not had notes, should have known any of that in advance. I think Pence and Kamala will be even better. Oh, my Lord. But did anybody's mind get changed any? Yeah. Trump did take Biden to task on when he should have on some stuff. You know, Chris stopped him a few times. When Biden opened the door, I like law and order rules or court rules. You open the door to it, I get to walk through that door. Biden opened a couple, but Wallace kind of stopped Trump from walking through. Might end up writing him into submission. The VP debate is 1 week from next. They said it just before the presidential debate. Next presidential debate. Fire Sarge, my mind honestly is made up on Trump, and I'm gonna sound stupid saying that, but because I've read a lot. And I remember how Obama treated people. I remember how Obama took away my insurance. I'm supposedly the poster child of what the Affordable Care Act is for. It took away the insurance I had at the company I worked at, just put the company out of business because they tried to help pay for insurance and got Cadillac tax on it for providing good insurance. There are no affordable care plans in my area, nowhere near as good as my insurance was. No. Thankfully, my wife has insurance through her job, or I'd be screwed right now. Or I'd have to fully get on government aid, and still not as good. Yeah, stupid. In my opinion, Biden's smirk and laughing under stress are classic signs of dementia Alzheimer's. It's also a sign, Jay Watterson, and yeah, that's true. But it's also a sign of somebody that's just trying to let a lie go past him when he's fucked. He was screwed, and he knew it. That's his... You know, it's like when you're in mixed martial arts, somebody punches you in the face real hard, you just try to, act all badass to show, I'm not hurt when you're really hurt. That's exactly what that was. That was Trump get a pop right to the face, and he's like, I'm fine. Didn't hurt me. When actually he's like, oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah. Biden was doing his best to try to deal with somebody that's not a politician and trying to come down to Trump's non-political level, and he couldn't. He tried. Did better than Hillary did. No, friend in Alaska got screwed over his insurance. He's a small, but yeah, exactly, corkboard. I worked for a company. It was a small company that busted its ass. I was part owner, but we busted our ass to provide insurance. Good insurance. It cost a lot. ACA came along, jacked our insurance rates, and put a Cadillac tax on us. Killed my insurance, took us out of business. Everybody there that had that good insurance has now lost it because of the ACA. And I have cystic fibrosis. So, hey, Obama didn't help me out any. And also raised the out-of-pocket amounts. The ACA raised the out-of-pocket amounts. And now we are both paying huge money out of pocket, which kills us every year because of Obama. So, yeah. Rebecca, yeah, he did, but he also kind of helped. I agree, Chris Wallace had a hell of a time, but he did help Biden out when he shouldn't have a bunch of times. When one candidate opens a door, it's always been, in every debate I've seen, if one candidate says something really stupid and calls the other one out or blames him for something, the other one gets to respond. Chris was stopping Trump. Well, Biden called out, so I call him old Biden. He called out a bunch of stupidity, and Trump tried to call him on it, and Wallace stopped him too much. Way too much. Oh, hell, guys. Yeah, I don't think it made any difference to me. I've studied and read too much about this stuff. I think a lot of you guys have too. I don't think it helped Biden at all. I think there's people out there that haven't even heard about the money Hunter Biden got from the mayor of Moscow's wife for $3.5 million. For all the $186,000 a month he's making. When the guy was broke, he had nothing going on, no skills before that, before Biden became VP. Now he's a multimillionaire. It was pay for play. So that's exactly what it was. I think some people are going to look that up and go, ooh. I think the biggest problem Biden did of the night, Biden disavowed the far left way too much. He's calling for law and order. He actually agreed, Trump, fine, law and order. A lot of far lefties are going, F you, buddy. He also said the Green New Deal isn't good. It sucks. No, not the Green New Deal. He just lost a lot of far lefties right there. I think he kind of just shot himself in the foot or fractured his party a little more. Bad move. Say law enforcement. Yeah, exactly. No kidding. Agreed, Fire Sarge. Yeah. More deflection under pressure than dementia. Yeah, it was deflection. Like I said, it's just like, guys, Biden did that because just like in fighting, when a guy really punches you hard and you're hurt real bad, you attack. Or you should try to show like you're not hurt when you really are. That's what Biden was doing. Hey, when it was a verbal jab that really hurt. So, yeah. Joe Biden town hall with Lester Holt on Monday. Yeah. Will he be okay by Monday next week? Well, we'll see. Like reality TV from a care home. Yeah, well, see, the fire sergeant, the problem is, I think he's going to lose more people on the left because of what he did tonight than he will gain from the middle. If he gains one vote from middle, from where he pandered over tonight, then he lost 1,000 from the left. After each one he gained from the middle. He just told the far lefties that we're going to vote for him. I'm sorry, screw your defunding the police. I want law and order. And screw your Green New Deal. Bad move for them. So yeah, I don't think it's going to help. I think it hurt Obama. Oh, Biden. I think it hurt Biden more than Trump. I really do. I do like how Trump brought up all the riots and unrest under Obama and Biden, where they both backed it and amped it up. America did not have a race problem until Obama and Biden got in there. They amped it up. Then Trump inherited this race crap. Go look it up. We had riots, burnings. People are still walking around hands don't shoot today when that was false. I've never seen Eric Holder apologize for that, or Obama. I don't know, Rebecca. One is the one that can't remember stuff. The other remembers just fine. Fox ratings will be huge tonight. I agree. You know who I'd like to see moderate the debates, guys? You may not know who they are. You know who I'd like to see? Greg Gutfeld. I'd like to see Greg Gutfeld moderate. Oh. Or James Woods. How's that one, corkboard? Greg Gutfeld or James Woods moderate. Guess somebody that's not a news anchor, per se. Gutfeld's more of a shit stirrer. Yes, he did fire Sarge. There's multiple times that Obama blamed crap on the cops, attacked the cops, called the cops bad. Yeah, agreed. Totally, Sarge. Totally. He attacked the cops incessantly. We had never had a racial problem, a racial divide like we did under Obama. And then Trump inherited that and the left amped it up. Biden and Kamala have bailed out protesters that went on to kill people, burn stuff, attack people. That can't be walked away from. And when Trump tried to mention it, Chris Wallace stopped him. Shouldn't have. It's proved. I do not agree with how Wallace stopped some of that stuff. When Trump had dead stuff on Biden, Wallace stepped in a bunch. I don't like that. The fact that he let Biden spout that BS shit about how Trump hates the military. Come on. That was proven 100% wrong. The Dems would never come out with a source, ever, showing it. Nobody in that room said it. Everybody in that room, they know who was in that room. And they know who was around the president every second of every day. It's all written down, documented 1,000 times over. 1,000 times over. Everybody that was in that room under the government release documentation says it never happened. Even John Bolton, the guy who hates Trump, says it didn't happen. Yet Biden's up there spouting that shit. That's crap. So yeah. My local news is on. The coronavirus update. Whatever. So yeah, letting him spout that crap. And I know a lot of military people and none of them believe it. I did not know how much Trump was for the military even before he was president. He's done crap loads I didn't know about. Wow. So yeah. All right, guys. I do thank you very much for coming over. If you got any ideas and things you want me to talk about, look me up on Twitter. I did post a little meme on Twitter earlier. Look me up on the Potato News Network 20 at gmail.com. Drop me any suggestions, ideas. Other than that, thanks for checking it out. I don't know if anybody's getting notifications. As far as I know, they're still, I've checked, they're on. But yeah, I don't know if notifications are going out. But let's see here. His taxes was a question. Why not a question? I want to know if taxes are a question. I want to know why we're not prosecuting the people who released them. That is illegal to federally release somebody's taxes. It's illegal as hell. That's doxing. It's illegal. So whoever did that should be in deep, deep poo-poo. A little off topic, but relevant. How did Biden have a commercial? Yeah, that's not off topic. That's 100%. They released, actually, a corkboard here in parts of America where I'm at, within 38 minutes of that stuff being leaked and the news coming out, there were ads out by Biden. Totally done, edited, perfectly good ads. They had a whole campaign out. They had press releases on it. They knew it was done by somebody. No, Biden. Come on. These are the people that did the whole Russian collusion hoax, who did fake dossier. Of course, these guys already have this built. They know how to do this. So yeah, they already had the advertisements ready. They knew they were involved in it, and it's crap. Hey, Sarge, have a good one, buddy. But no, it's not off topic, corkboard, and it should have been pressed, and I want to see charges for the people who released that stuff. And I said the same thing during the Hillary Clinton thing. They released her stuff. Yeah, it showed illegality, but who released illegal stuff? Just saying. But thing is, releasing somebody's taxes is much, much more illegal than releasing something from a DNC server, because no taxes were messed with. No government documentation. DNC, gray area. Taxes, holy crap, that's illegal. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do. I appreciate you guys being here and ranting with me in this small little channel. And I think tonight that, I think Trump peeled that tater. What do you think? Until then, guys, don't be baked. I don't know what to say. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good one. Thank you very much. I will talk to you later. Now I gotta figure out how to shut this thing off again. Have a good one, all. Trump 2020. Yeah.